All right. Okay. Welcome to the podcast, Two Guys with Beards. All right. No, that's Dan. He's the Chief Technology Officer for Thorn Technologies. I'm Mike, and I'm the Director of Marketing for Thorn Technologies. And we are here to talk about something exciting. SFTP Gateway version 3.7 is now available on all the marketplaces, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. And Dan is the best person to talk about all the features and all the reasons people should want to either use SFTP Gateway for the first time or to upgrade to the latest version. So I guess the first question I would ask Dan, I know you have a lot of features in this new release, but what are you most excited about?
I think I'm most excited about one, Azure Files, being able to connect to that. And then second, we had a long-standing problem that we just solved with the CyberDuck client, where the CyberDuck client, if there were enough of them, they could crash your SFTP server because they make a lot of requests. We figured out how to handle that so it doesn't actually crash the server anymore. And that's a big improvement. CyberDuck has been a pain.
Cool. So can you talk more about the Azure Files piece?
Yeah, so on Azure, we had supported the blob storage, blob containers, but with blob storage in general across all the clouds, it's you have to write the whole file as one object in one call, pretty much, unless you're doing multi-core upload. But any changes or appending to the file would require you to basically rewrite the entire file. But with Azure Files, it acts more like a traditional file system where you can append bytes to a file, or you can change bytes at a random spot in the file, which makes it more friendly to mounting as a shared drive. So it can be mounted as a shared drive and used in SFTP Gateway, which gives the users a lot of flexibility on how they want to access those files.
Got it. So I'm not familiar with some of this stuff, and it gets pretty technical, like you are or members of the support team. So is this Azure piece, equivalent to something that we already have for AWS or Google Cloud, or have we added features to each of those that are like as unique as this one for people who are using it on Azure?
So yeah, not yet. Azure File Shares were the first ones that have this random file access and appending feature. We do have plans for the other clouds to add support for things like EFS, which would be similar to Elastic File System in AWS, and Google Storage's file system like storage too. But Azure is the first that has this, and it's because the customers have been asking specifically for Azure File Share support. So that's why we addressed it there first.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely know that customer feedback drives lots of the features that you add. Were there any other features for this release that were asked for a lot by customers like that one?
Yeah, we had several customers asking for LDAP support, and that's to be an identity provider both for logging in as an admin or logging into SFTP with a SFTP client. So that is now supported as an identity provider. You can use Active Directory or anything that supports LDAP. And we also have added another thing that's been requested several times, which is expiration of users over a time period.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you can set it up so, for example, after 14 days, a user will be deleted from the system, which helps with people who are setting up temporary SFTP accounts.
Yeah, had we heard from people about like use cases for that, where there were a lot of people wanting to have users just have temporary access?
Yeah, well, one specific client asked for this because they're using SFTP in their customer support system. So when they need files from a person asking for customer support, they will set up a SFTP user for them, and they didn't have the capacity to go back and clean that list over time. So now they can just set it up so that user will automatically be cleaned up, just because they only need them for like a week. And then afterwards, it's clean up the system and we can create new users.
Cool. Yeah. So that was like a manual step people did in the past each time
Yeah.
they wanted to delete a user. Okay.
Pretty much it.
What do you think are the other features that some of the longtime users might be most excited about?
Yeah, so we had a customer that was using a file mounting service like S3 Fuse, which is a pretty good way to mount your S3 buckets as drives on your computer. But the problem with that is they use a different time unit for storing the file modified times. So that was conflicting with our system. But now SFTP Gateway can support the times that are written by S3 Fuse and show the correct date. So it doesn't look like the date is way in the future. We also have a couple of security things we did and efficiencies where in our highly available setup on AWS, we locked it down so the backend servers can't be accessed outside of the load balancer. So that's just a common security practice for the cloud that you should follow. And we got rid of database credentials on AWS for when you're connecting to a RDS database. Instead of using database credentials, you can just use the identity, the instance identity, just like for the instance profile, which is another recommended cloud practice. So the AWS setup has, especially in highly available setups, has been really locked down security-wise to be really strong there. And another instance identity related change is that we optimized the use of the instance identity credentials. So in the past, you could, if you were using instance identity or instance profile, could run into a situation where too many clients connecting at the same time could cause that instance identity retrieval to basically time out. But we've stabilized that by making that a singleton, so each connection is using the same instance credentials now instead of retrieving new ones each time, which has improved the stability of the product for sure.
Yeah. So is 3.7, is this one of the more significant releases since version 3 has come out, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's pretty significant with the new cloud connection and the new identity provider, and just better security and better performance. Yeah, I think people will find this one a lot more stable, especially if they have people using CyberDuck, which was a big problem before.
Got it. So I understand definitely some of the improvements that have taken place on the security side. What about the performance of it in general? I mean, is there anything people would notice? Like you talked about stability, is that the same thing, or are there other performance related improvements somebody might notice?
I think, yeah, stability, that will improve performance because when the system goes down, the performance is nothing. So now the performance is a little bit better through that. And with this, we also increased the upload size for S3 objects so they can, I think it was limited to about a terabyte before, but now actually you can upload files that are 5 terabytes. So that
that's just for S3, is that right?
just for S3, yeah. The other clouds, I think, you can upload files of 5 terabytes. And the reason I say I think is because those tests take a very long time to run because it's 5 terabytes of data.
Right. Were you hearing from users often that were uploading files that were larger than a terabyte?
No, it only happened with one customer support request for that, yeah. But no, I don't think anyone's actually uploaded files larger than a terabyte very often at all.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we have anybody come to us knowing now that it can upload even larger files, if that opens it up to any new users. I'm just trying to think about who the people would be that are uploading that much data. It's a ton.
Yeah, I find a lot of the users that have a ton of data they want to upload at once are usually people doing 5.9 backups, like the customer's call support backup system, so they can record their calls.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I know we have a few people that I've talked to before that are using it for that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the audio files.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay. All right. Anything else we haven't covered on 3.7 that's new?
I mean, there's been little fixes here and there. We've updated the libraries that the Java jar uses, so getting past any CVEs that have been reported on the libraries, updating to the latest Spring Boot, so the security there was updated. But those things, those are part of the general maintenance we do, so they can expect that with every update to have slightly improved security for sure.
Cool. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is, you mentioned earlier, some things we might do in the future, like we did with the Azure Files feature for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything on the roadmap that's coming in future 3 dot something releases that you're comfortable talking about at this point?
Well, yeah, let me look. Right now, I'm focusing a lot on Storage Link, our other product.
Yeah.
And since we just had this release with for SFTP Gateway, so now Storage Link gets a chance to catch up with some of those features. And let me pull up and see if I can find something I can talk about.
Yeah, so do you know time frame wise, like approximately what you're looking at for like another Storage Link release, or even after that, like an SFTP Gateway release?
Oh yeah, so Storage Link release should be in the first quarter of this year, and then after that, we'll go back to SFTP Gateway and get another release of that out. So that would probably be second quarter. One of the main features we're looking at the first half of this year is email support, and using email to allow users to like reset passwords, to send passwords out to them and have general communication with users. Right now, we don't have any kind of email system or email notifications set up at all. So we'll have better support for or better compliance with password policy requirements by having this kind of self-service password.
Is that an SFTP Gateway?
That'll be, yeah, an SFTP Gateway.
Got it. Okay. So is that, like, I know some people we have in some of our documentation and then our blog, we have the email notification add-on documentation, so people can add that. Is that going to be basically building something like that right into the product?
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, and we'll have a way for people to define their own email servers, or by default they can use an email server that we will provide. But yeah, it just provides an easier way to notify the users and have a secure communication with them.
Cool. All right. Any Storage Link stuff you want to give some spoilers on?
I can give a spoiler that Storage Link will have the Azure File support in the next version. And then also we are starting to implement and work on the ability to share files and folders to external users.
Via a link where you
Yeah, like a share link.
that'll be awesome. So like you could be a storage link user and you would want to share a file with me that you had in cloud storage somewhere, and you would send me the link in an email or Slack or whatever. I'd click the link and it would let me access a particular folder that you'd given me access to.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll figure out the exact way that all that will work. But yes, that is basically how it will work. Yeah.
And would I need to be a storage link user also, or could I just click that link and access that location to upload and download?
Yeah, that's a good question, and we are still discussing that. But if you are a user, yeah, it would be integrated in a way that would help if you had an existing user account. But if you were a new user or you were an anonymous user, then we would have another flow for that.
Got it. Cool. So all of this could be happening for the Q2 storage link release. What will the version number of this be for storage link?
So the first version we'll be putting out with Azure File support and some other things will be 1.2.
Okay, got it. And then the link, the sharing you just mentioned, is that 1.3?
Right, that'll be 1.3.
And that's coming potentially this year as well?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, but not Q2.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how fast everything goes. But we're aiming for the middle of this year.
Awesome. That's cool. I can't wait for the storage link one, because I can just think of so many ways to use that. Because I mean, we've talked about this internally before, is that not everybody's an SFTP user, but everybody's used services like Dropbox or something like that, where they get a link from somebody and they upload or download files. So for us to have that set up with storage link for people's cloud storage locations would be awesome. So we've got like the, use cases where like one company is using SFTP to, get files sent every night from maybe all their locations around the country. And then somebody comes in the next day who's not an SFTP user, like somebody in finance, and they want to analyze some reports, or maybe the report already got analyzed, like after they were uploaded to the cloud. And then this person wants to, look at the results. Then they can just pull them via storage link. They don't even have to be an SFTP user.
Yeah, exactly. So it really completes that flow of having the automated systems plus an actual person that wants to download the files who may not have familiarity with SFTP clients.
Yeah, awesome. And people don't have to run and find a third-party external system to do it. Everything can just stay in their one cloud storage location.
Yeah, or even worse, some people actually provide like AWS credentials so someone can access the bucket directly. But the problem with that is if you don't lock down those credentials correctly, someone could steal them, like a hacker could steal them and then do something like a ransomware attack on your server. But with our system, there's a separation between the user and the data. So they can't perform direct S3 operations like encrypt the entire bucket through our system. So it provides a little layer of protection too.
Yeah, it's a good time for us to make sure people understand that we don't touch their data. Like,
yeah, we don't touch their data.
About this. We are not a file sharing system where we hold your data at any point. You deploy both SFTP Gateway and Storage Link, both products in your own cloud storage location, AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, and then it stays there. You're not, except for the users, you give permission to move files back and forth. So
exactly.
We are never involved in the actual data. Awesome. Anything else you want to talk about with upcoming releases, roadmaps, anything like that before we wrap up?
I think that's probably a good amount for now.
All right, man. Well, thanks for the spoilers, especially. That's good stuff. That's going to definitely get people checking stuff out with the Not just 3.7, but all the secrets, the stuff coming later this year, man.
Yeah, and I would love to hear from customers contacting customer support and letting us know how they think those features should work, or what features they're missing, or what they would like to see in the product. Or, you know, we love hearing from customers and getting the product to be what customers want.
Awesome. Yeah. support@thorntech.com. Or if they go to thorntech.com and go to the contact section, there's a form there to contact the support team. So yeah. And there's also a way to contact the sales team there if people are interested in talking about like an enterprise level solution, or they have any questions about which product is right for them, they can do that. But no, that's awesome. I'm going to include some stuff from this in the monthly newsletter. So this will definitely go out to current customers who hopefully will send you guys some thoughts on the features.
Yeah, I guess I'm leaving out a major feature or major development for SFTP Gateway, but we are building a containerized version of SFTP Gateway, and that is actually almost ready for, you know, the beta testers, and then we'll move on to actually deploying it on the marketplace. So a containerized version is on the way for SFTP Gateway.
Cool. Do you have beta testers already?
Not yet.
Got it. So
yeah, anyone's interested, reach out to support.
Awesome. Yeah, I know you've done that with some of the other products before. With I know when you put the LDAP piece in, you were trying to test it out with some of the people who were requesting that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, cool. Yeah, if anybody has any interest in some of these features we're talking about, they can give us feedback or contact you, the support team, who will reach out to you if they could become a beta tester for some of this stuff.
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. All right, thanks, Dan. I will let you get back to building the future of file transfers, and I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, thanks. Nice talking to you, Mike.
All right, thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.